What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Caden, or Cantina Comics, and today we're going to be ranking every single live-action Superman suit that we've seen throughout the years. There are over 30 suits on this list, so without further ado, let's start off in last place with Dean Cain's black suit from Lois and Clark. Now, the only thing I really like about this suit is the blue, which it's not even supposed to be there. It's supposed to be silver to begin with. I don't know what they're really going for with this. I feel like it entirely missed the mark. This feels like a suit that you can get at Party City. I swear I've seen this suit sitting up on a shelf before when I was 6 years old looking for a cheap Halloween costume. That's exactly how this feels, and that is why it is at the last place. Next, we have a combination of about 3 suits. That's going to be Kirk Allen, George Reeves, and the Adventures of Superboy's suit, which technically isn't a Superman suit, it's a Superboy suit, but I'm still going to count it. These are the first Superman suits that we've ever seen. They definitely are a product of their time, and with that, they are dated. And that is why they're towards the end on this list, solely just because the times have changed so much since then. These were probably great at the time for what we had gotten, but they just don't hold up to any other suits on this list. And going back to Dean Cain, we now have his classic suit from Lois and Clark. Like I had said before, this looks like a cheap Party City costume suit. I don't know why they went with the material they did. It looks super fake. The cape looks like it was made out of tablecloth. It has that like thin, kind of like opaque look to it. I don't know why they went with that material, and ultimately it didn't help the suit at all, and that is why it is staying exactly where it is, towards the bottom of this list. At the number 26 spot, we have 2 suits once again, and these are Nicolas Cage's unused suits from his Superman movie with Tim Burton. The classic suit looked a lot better than the rejuvenation suit, or whatever they were even going to call this suit. This was like their version of the black suit. It looks really interesting to say the least. The concept art is really wild. But now coming back to the classic suit, I like this design. I feel like for the time, the definition of the muscle padding is a little much. It's a little extra, and I don't even know what these trunks are. I'm not even gonna go down that rabbit hole. These are definitely some odd looking trunks, but hey, it's a classic Superman suit. It doesn't look that bad, and arguably it might have looked good on screen. Who knows? We're never gonna find out. Next, we have Ben Affleck's suit from Hollywoodland, where he plays George Reeves. Now, this is very similar to George Reeves' actual suit, but there are some differences. That's why it's on here, and it's also a little bit updated, and it doesn't look bad on Ben Affleck. He's still to this day the only actor to both play Batman and Superman, if you count this role. I think this suit definitely is better than Dean Cain's suit to begin with, as well as Nick Cage's suits, but that is really where it belongs, on the bottom with these as well. And now in a giant leap forward, we have Tom Welling's suit from the end of Smallville. This looks very similar, to me at least anyway, to Brandon Routh's suit, which is next. Now, we barely even saw this suit at all in Smallville. It was teased at the very end, and there was little parts throughout that episode. I really wish we got to see Tom Welling in the full suit, but the fact that we never see Tom in the suit is why I'm kind of leaving it lower on this list. Next, we have Brandon Routh's suit from Superman Returns. Now, this was the first Superman suit that I ever wore as a costume growing up. I love this suit so much, but it definitely has its problems, and it's dated for sure. First of all, the red here is more of a burgundy. In certain shots, it almost looks brown, which is kind of weird. It shouldn't look like that for a Superman suit. Also, the House of L sigil is everywhere on the suit, minus the places it actually needs to be. Starting off, we have it in the belt here. We have it on the boots, the soles of the boots. It's also in the texturing of the suit itself, but there's nothing on the cape, and the chest logo looks super small. I am going to throw an honorable mention next to this, and that being his Kryptonian suit that he gets when he arrives on Earth. I really like how this looks, but it's not a Superman suit, so that's why it's only going to be an honorable mention with this, but I still like its design. Next, we have John Newton and Gerard Christopher's suits from Superboy. Again, this isn't a Superman suit, it's Superboy, but it's very similar to Christopher Reeves, but there are slight adjustments when Christopher replaced Newton in the role, and that being the House of L sigil is a little bit more straight and it's not crooked, and that's really about it. This is just a cheaper version of Christopher Reeve's suit, and that's why it is where it is on this list, and also, it's not even really a Superman suit to begin with, but I still think it's better than the Brandon Routh suit. Hey, we have the trunks, we have the red, yellow, and blue, and it's actually red this time and not burgundy. Alright, next on this list, we have Nick Cage's suit from The Flash. Now, I don't even know if this suit was even real to begin with, or if it was entirely CG. I don't really care. The Flash was terrible, but one thing we got was finally seeing Nicolas Cage on screen as Superman, and it looks about as you'd expect. But I do think this suit is better than the previous suits that he had worn for his screen tests as Superman for Tim Burton's unmade Superman movie. But that's really all I gotta say about it. It has trunks, it has the cape, it has the big House of L sigil, but it has Nick Cage with long hair looking pretty uncanny. Alrighty, next up, I don't even know if I can call this a Superman suit, but I'm gonna include it. It is Tom Welling's suit from Smallville, the main one he wears throughout the show, where he has the jacket with the House of L sigil kind of etched into it. It's just a leather jacket with a blue sheer underneath. That's really about it, but I will say it's a lot better than all these other costumes, in my opinion. The only one I could possibly make an argument for fitting better here would be Brandon Routh's suit from Superman Returns. Again, the fact that it's not red really, I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does. Alrighty, and a giant leap forward once again, we have Tyler Hoechlin's suit from Supergirl. This version of the suit takes inspiration from Injustice. I think it could have been executed a lot better, and it very well could be because this is Tyler Hoechlin's first outing as Superman, but this suit just doesn't look like it fits him that well. I wish we got the trunks with this, but again, it's Injustice Superman, so I understand why we didn't. But I will say, I really hate how the cape connects here. It just doesn't look that great, and I wish they would have gave him just a different suit. Next, we have the black suit from Smallville. Again, this isn't like a full Superman suit, but it looks a lot better than the previous suits. I kind of like the trench coat idea that they're going for here, and with the t-shirt underneath, it works for a black suit. It was cool for what we got and for the time, but again, this isn't a Superman suit, so I can't rank it any higher on this list. Alright, again, taking a big leap forward, we have Henry Cavill's Justice League suit. I don't know what went wrong with this suit. It was great in BVS, but then it got taken even further and it looks really bad now. The saturation is turned up to 12,000 here, and we can really see the silver muscle suit underneath, and you really shouldn't be able to. The blue looks kind of off with it. Overall, it just makes the suit feel really over-designed, which it shouldn't because it didn't feel that way previously. Following this, we're gonna have the short appearance of the suit in Shazam. It's just the BVS suit, but a little bit brighter. The yellow on the House of L sigil is a little bit more saturated, and that's why I'm even having here to begin with, because it is slightly different, but it's still not perfect. It definitely has the muscle padding issue once again, where you can see the silver muscle suit coming through, but I do think it's better than the Justice League suit, so that is why it is listed higher. Next, we have Tyler Hoechlin's Elseworlds suit. Now, this is just his Injustice suit that we had seen previously, but now we have a color here, and honestly, this looks so much better in the black, and even when it's reused in Superman Lois, I think it looks even better, and I do think it is a little bit different. They definitely seem like they had updated it when it showed up in the show, but it still has the weird cape attachments, so because of that, I'm leaving it here, but it definitely is better than the Justice League suit, especially with it being all black. It just hides a lot of the issues I had with this suit previously. And speaking of Tyler Hoechlin, we have the Season 4 suit from Superman and Lois. Now, I really love this suit. I just wish the blue wasn't almost black. It looks really dark here, and you can't even tell it's blue half the time. I think if they were to take the blue from the Season 3 suit and put it on this, it would be perfect. Maybe minus having the black texturing on there for the muscles, but the color is perfect. I think it's just a little too dark for Superman. I also understand because he had died in the season and he was brought back to life, so it's kind of like his black suit, but kind of not. Speaking of Superman and Lois, we're gonna go to the Season 2 suit. Now, this is just an updated version of the Season 1 suit, but for some reason, this suit just kind of lacks in comparison to Season 1, but I do think the blue of the Season 1 suit looks better. I don't know what it is. Something just looks off with the Season 2 suit, and that is why I'm having a little bit lower here. And speaking of the Season 1 suit, we're now gonna move on to that. I really like this suit. I just wish it had trunks, especially because we saw the Fleischer suit and that had trunks, and then we went to this and it has no trunks. The belt kind of looks a little weird, and that's also why I'm kind of leaving it a little bit lower on this list. I do like the two-tone that they used for the blues. The House of L sigil is also stitched into it, so it kind of looks weird. Honestly, if we were to get this suit with trunks and with the Season 4 and Season 3 House of L sigil, I think it would be perfect. But there's still some things holding it back, and that is why it's at the number 12 spot on this list. Next, we have Christopher Reeve's suits as Superman. I love these suits growing up. They look great. I will say for the time, this classic suit is awesome. It looks great. It looks great on Christopher Reeve. He really made it fit well, especially when Henry Cavill put it on for a screen test, and that's because it was made obviously for Christopher Reeve, but he fills out the suit. He feels like Superman. Cavill in the suit doesn't. But I will say it's definitely dated, and it doesn't hold up to the suits later on, but I really love the colors here. They pop. I also just have an issue with it being fabric. It looks too fake. Again, for the time, it worked perfectly. Next, we have Tyler Hoechlin's Season 3 suit. I think this just looks better. Again, minus the texturing for the muscles. I don't know why they added that there, but the colors here really pop, and I really love how the House of L sigil looks. It looks better than the Seasons 2 and 1 suit. I really think the muscle texturing is what brings it down for me. Alright, next we have the suit from BVS. I will say it is still a little bit dark, but it works well, and I think this is the best Henry Cavill's suit had looked pre-Black Adam. The blues are really blue here, and I love it. I also love his cape in this. They had updated the boots from Man of Steel, and I really love how they look, but I do think there are some better picks later on, so I'm going to leave this at the number 9 spot for now. And speaking of Henry Cavill, now we're going to talk about the Man of Steel suit. I really love this suit, especially in the behind the scenes. You can tell that it's really blue, and in the movie it's not as blue as it should be, but I really love the House of L sigil here. It was changed for BVS. It has a line through it then, but in this movie it doesn't, and I think it looks better. I will say it is a little on the smaller side, but it still works great, and if this suit had trunks, I think it would be close to perfect. Although the color correction also kind of brings it down a little bit. This was also the first iteration of the suit, and the best version of it with the silver muscle padding underneath. It was still there, but it wasn't as obvious as it is in the Justice League suit, and with that being said, I think the Man of Steel suit is honestly super slept on. Sticking with Henry Cavill, we're gonna now move on to his black suit from the Snyder Cut. Now, this is just the BVS/Justice League suit, but changed to be black in post. This wasn't ever a real suit. This is without a doubt one of the best black suits we've ever gotten. There's not much more I even want to say besides it's literally almost perfect. And it's definitely not the last Henry Cavill suit on this list. Which leads us to our number 6 spot, and that being his suit that we saw in Black Adam. We barely saw him in this film. It was in the post-credit scene, but this was without a doubt the best Henry Cavill's classic suit has ever looked. The colors here are fucking amazing. I love the yellow, I love the red, and I really love the blue. They used the Man of Steel suit for this and in post changed the colors. Why didn't this suit have this color from the get-go? This is the best that Henry Cavill's classic suit has ever looked. And you can fight me about it in the comments down below. Alrighty, moving on to the number 5 spot, we have Brandon Routh's suit from Crisis on Infinite Earths, his Kingdom Come version. I love this suit. This is literally ripped off of the page. I love the House of L sigil with the red and black, and I also love the black belt with the red trunks. It looks really good. Also, Brandon Routh being in the suit looks great, and it's a giant redemption from his Superman Returns suit. If you want to do comic book recreations, this is how you should do it. It is perfect. Now at the number 4 spot, we have Henry Cavill's black suit from Man of Steel. Now, this is different from his black suit in Zack Snyder's Justice League. We can see in the behind the scenes here that this is his Man of Steel suit, but all black. I think this is the best black suit that we've ever gotten. I'll still go back and forth between this suit and the Snyder Cut version, but I really love this one. All my issues with the black suit from the Snyder Cut have been fixed, and we barely got to see it, which is a shame. At the number 3 spot, we have David Corenswet's suit from James Gunn's Superman. I really love this suit. I wasn't one of the people that were hating on it when we first got the set photo when it came out, and there are some creases, and I don't really like that for Superman, but we have the trunks, we have the classic suit, we got the logo on the cape. I've been wanting that for years. I'm glad we got it. I also really love the baby blue that they used. I will say though, the lines on the torso need to go. There's this redesign that I saw of it that looks absolutely perfect, and I would love to see this redesign used in the future, but if we just stick with this, I wouldn't be too opposed. At the number 2 spot, we have Brandon Routh's finale suit from Crisis. At the very end, we see this thing, and it is absolutely beautiful. I love almost everything about this. We have the Kingdom Come suit. I guarantee though that belt on the trunks is yellow with the yellow on the crest. I will say the red is a little dull here, and also the cape kind of looks like it's made out of like a tarp material, and I don't like that. But if you're gonna do a classic suit, especially with the Kingdom Come logo, this is how you should do it. And now finally, at the number 1 spot, we have the Fleischer suit from Superman and Lois. It is a crime that we barely got to see this suit in the show. I love it so much, and the fact that they teased us with this, with the trunks, and then just gave us the regular season 1 suit without the trunks was a shame. I wish we got to use this suit for half of the season, maybe even the full season, before going to season 2 and giving him that regular suit. I love everything about this. My first Superman was the Fleischer serials from the 40s. My grandpa showed me that growing up. I watched those VHS tapes so much, I think we had to get rid of them. I'm probably biased and blinded by nostalgia, but this is my favorite Superman suit. That was my ranking of all of the live-action Superman suits that we've gotten throughout the years. I'd love to hear what your ranking is in the comments down below. Go ahead and drop it. I am so excited for the future of Superman, and especially too, we're definitely going to get some more banging suits, and I cannot wait. With all that being said, it's been Caden or Cantina Comics, and I will see you all in the next one.